No offense, but you look like you've traveled a long way down some bad roads. Where'd you come from?
The grave.
Huh. Well, in that case, I take it back. You look pretty good, given the circumstances. Well,
Thanks.
Welcome then. I'm Veronica. I live in a hole in the ground.
You live in a hole in the ground.
Well, a bunker, if you want to get technical. I think it sounds more interesting my way. But I'm not there much anymore. I'm usually out here picking up food and supplies for my family, whatever they need.
So you just leave your family in the bunker?
Yeah, I'm not worried. They can handle themselves. But somebody has to get the groceries, know what I mean? And actually these days, I think they'd rather have me out here anyway. But that's a whole other story. So listen, can I ask you something on the level?
Go ahead.
I had a run-in with this group calling themselves the Brotherhood of Steel. Pretty strange bunch. Do you know anything about them?
Well, they're usually harmless unless you use advanced technology around them.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem for me. I can't afford anything like that. Hey, so where are you headed anyway?
The strip?
Ooh, very exciting. Gonna strike it rich, huh? I'll be honest.
I guess, yeah.
You're the first person I've run across out here that looks like she can really handle herself. There are places I've never been to that'd be too dangerous for just me. What do you think? Maybe we could travel together. Help each other out.
Don't we have a family to feed?
Like I said, they can handle themselves. And I'm not the only one getting supplies for them. It's a big family.
Where are you hoping to go?
Oh, nowhere in particular, really. Just hoping to see more of the world. Looking for a fresh perspective. I want to see how different groups have adapted to survive in the Mojave. See if there's something I can learn from.
Well, you don't look like much. What do you bring to the table?
Good. That's the look I was going for. Trust me on this one, though. You'll be glad you brought me along. If I turn out to be a burden, we can part ways at any time. No hard feelings.
Okay, why not? Let's travel together.
Now you're talking. One thing you should know first, though. I asked you about the Brotherhood because I'm one of them.
What?
I know, but I had to know how you react when I told you. We have made a lot of enemies. You still okay bringing me along?
Well, as long as you're honest with me from now on.
Sure. Just don't ever ask me if your outfit makes you look fat. Well, thanks for taking a chance on a naive young girl from California with stars in her eyes and a pneumatic gauntlet on her hand. Let's hit the road, huh?
Sure.
What's up?
So, tell me about yourself, Veronica.
I like long walks in the desert and candlelit metal workshops.
Do you have any other family in the Brotherhood?
Just my parents, but they haven't been around for a long time. Dad was a paladin, Mom was a scribe. They died in the same battle, trying to hold off the NCR from... something. I don't remember what it was. Guess it seemed important at the time.
Tell me something else about you.
Can I make it up?
No. Are you, well respected among other members of the Brotherhood?
If you take trying to keep me as far away from Hidden Valley as possible because I ask too many difficult questions as a sign of respect, oh yeah. That's not to say I don't get along with them. I just think they don't know what to do with me sometimes.
Tell me something else about you.
Like what?
Is there someplace you wanted me to take you?
Nowhere specific. I just know there are a lot of groups who are actually doing well for themselves out here. I want to understand how and why. See them at work.
Tell me something else about you.
Like what?
Who was his father Elijah to you?
I would say he was my tutor, but that doesn't cover it. After my parents passed, he looked after me. The whole Brotherhood brought me up, really, but he made sure of it. I never had a grandfather, not that I knew, anyway. But Elijah was in some ways what I'd imagine a grandfather to be.
Well, where is he now?
I don't know. Last time anyone saw him was in the battle at Helios 1. I wasn't there. He gave orders to hold the plant until it could be reactivated. But he ran out of time. The NCR overran it. Everyone thought he was dead. But I got a note from him at a comm station. That's how he liked to talk, even to me. He wasn't good at face-to-face.
Well, what was in the note?
It was... strange. Even for Father Elijah. He's always been unstable, but this was... something else. I don't want to say delusional, but I don't know what else to call it. The only thing familiar about it was the signature. He said the Brotherhood was doomed, but that he'd return, save us. But the way he said it, I don't know. Said he'd return with one of the greatest treasures of the old world, make the Mojave like it was meant to be. Wipe the slate clean.
Sounds strange. So, were you close?
Yeah. I miss him.
Did you follow him from California?
It was by his request, actually. He cleared it with the other elders. Somehow. They sent him to look into the dam. There was a time when I'd have begged to follow. Watch him at work.
What changed?
He did. For years, he fought with the council. Taught me to question our direction. Meanwhile, he'd become more out of touch than all of them. On our way east, he demanded we stop at Helios 1 to examine it. While we were there, we received word that the NCR had taken the dam. He was furious. Called it children playing with a bomb, but he was mad because we'd lost its power. What we'd use it for. He didn't even care.
Well, how is that different from how any other elder would have reacted?
They're cautious. When they discover something, they respect it, learn its limits, consider how to preserve it. Used to drive Father Elijah crazy. He liked to learn limits too, but only so he could push them. That's not to excuse the other elders, though. They all covet technology for its own sake. Some are just more fanatical than others.
Well, have you ever tried to talk sense into him?
Yeah, I did. I couldn't help him. He just didn't listen. And the idea that people talk back to him... If he could have made the Brotherhood act like machines, ordering them around with the push of a button, he would have.
Alright, well, what did you learn from him?
Elijah could look at an old device and immediately understand what made it work. And he could see its potential, where it fit with other technology. It's not something he could teach, but he tried with me. Some of it stuck. But that's what he taught me. You ask what I learned from him.
Well, how's that different? What did you learn from him?
I learned what I don't want to become. In the end, there was just him and his vision. Nothing and no one else.
I want to discuss other things.
Ooh, got any juicy gossip?
No, tell me about yourself.
My favorite subject.
Sure. So, what are your goals?
I want a dress.
A dress.
Yeah, a good one. Something elegant and classy, you know? But still stylish. Something that's eye-catching and sexy, but also says, don't fuck with me. I keep hoping I'll come across some old-world designer gown when I'm scavenging, but it never happens. Maybe I should move back to California.
That's it. That's your goal. You want a nice dress.
Hey, you try getting a date wearing scribe robes. Might as well be wearing sweatpants. I just like them, you know? They make you feel like a woman. Those ladies, before the war, they knew what they were doing.
Tell me something else about you.
Like what?
Ever been in love?
Ever been nosy? I was.
Yes.
Once. We were pretty young, but I like to think it was love.
What happened?
She left the Brotherhood. Wanted to put some distance between herself and her parents. Since our membership isn't open to outsiders, some members think that obligates all of us to procreate. You can guess which camp her parents belong to.
And you didn't go with her?
No. Couldn't bring myself to leave everyone else behind. Couldn't convince her to stay, either. I'd hoped love would be enough to influence her decision, but it wasn't. We were both too stubborn. I don't know where she is now, but I'm sure she's moved on. I still think about her, though. Once in a while.
I want to discuss other things.
Sure.
I have questions I wanted to ask you.
He was dead when I got there.
What? What can you tell me about the Brotherhood Steel?
It pays like ass, but it's hard to get other work with my skill set. What do you want to know?
How much do you get paid? Is that in here? No. Okay. Well, what's their purpose?
Good question. These days, it's hard to say. Once upon a time, it was about technology, controlling it so it couldn't destroy us again. Energy weapons and power armor are usually tops on our list, although I appreciate anything that's vintage. But that all seems so limited now. We haven't grown or adapted, and now we're stuck in a hole, not carrying out our mission.
Okay. How did you get to be a member?
More sexual favors than I can even count. I am still tired from it.
What?
No, actually, you're born into it. My
Oh.
parents, their parents, so on. When you're young, you can choose to leave, but it's home, so most people don't. We don't take on new members, really. You can do the math on our long-term prospects based on that point. I keep hoping we'll change that.
Right. Well, I hope for your sake that everyone, gives birth to more than one child. Otherwise, yeah, you're screwed. So, what do you do for them?
I'm a procurement specialist. Like I said, it's basically grocery shopping, except sometimes the groceries are scavenged parts and arcane technology. The elder who brought us to the Mojave, Father Elijah, usually had me looking for these old memory units, but he'd never tell me what they were for. Nowadays, I'm usually sent to do business with traders at places like the 188, but sometimes I think it's just to keep me out of everyone's hair.
Do you like being a member?
I know sometimes I sound like I don't. I know. But there's something that still rings true to me about our code. There's an honor to it. We're protecting people. Even if it's from themselves, it's a good cause. We just lose sight of the big picture sometimes. Treat all our practices with the same sacredness.
Okay. Does the Brotherhood protect people from raiders or other threats? Super mutants, ghouls, things like that?
We only protect people from themselves, and only in the sense that we don't let them have the really good pre-war toys. And sometimes
that's
it's
it?
more like we protect
That's
ourselves
the only
from
thing
them
you
and
do.
hope to outlive them and become humanity's sole heirs. We've had people
see.
go rogue, though, and start helping people. One chapter had a small civil war over it. We take our isolationism seriously.
They sound pretty stupid. So, what's this codex?
Ah, the Codex. If it's in there, we have to abide it. If it's not important. It documents our history, too. Part of what scribes like me do is update it. I wonder... Nah, they'd probably catch it if I rewrote the Founder's axioms.
Yeah. Alright, what can you tell me about Father Elijah?
He was our elder when we came east. A wizard with technology, really. His mind just worked that way, naturally. I learned a lot from him. But he started having disagreements with the other elders. The Brotherhood's interest is in old technology. He wanted to explore developing new tech. And there were other ways he wanted to push, other weapons, ones with ethics questions attached. Rather than deal with him, they sent him east.
Always into the east, huh? Alright, never mind.
Darn it. I had some spectacular answers coming, too.
Well, I'm sorry, I ran out of questions. Goodbye.
See you around.
Nice to meet you. I'm Curtis.
Hey, Curtis, what are you doing here?
Officially, I'm in charge of Bravo Company. But since General Oliver has Bravo and most of our forces here garrisoned, I'm free to do other things. So I work with Colonel Shu on logistics, patrols, supply lines, reinforcements, that sort of thing. Lately, it's been less about that, and more about figuring out how that information is getting leaked to raiders. It's a big base with a lot of unhappy soldiers. They get stir-crazy. Hard to separate the malcontents from the actual culprit.
Right. Well, Colonel Sue wanted me to help you look into the recent intelligence leaks.
Smart man. I could use somebody who can operate under the radar around here. Whoever our mole is, he's been slippery. Whenever one of the MPs gets too close, he changes his habits. Our last lead went cold weeks ago.
Okay, where should I start?
You want my advice? Start by talking to people with a lot of eyes in the field. People like Lieutenant Boyd, or Sergeant Contreras, maybe. Careful with Contreras, though. He's not above suspicion himself. Keep me apprised of any leads you get. This guy's gotten a lot of my men killed. I'm just itching to return the favor.
Okay. Goodbye.
Later.
A pleasure to meet you. I'm Dr. Thomas Hildern, Director of Operations, OSI East. I presume you're here about Vault 22?
No, this is the first time I've heard about Vault 22.
No, they wouldn't have briefed you, would they? Probably better that our junior fellows stay within the bounds of their pay grade anyway. Vault 22. Where to begin?
Well, I'm listening.
Imagine, if you will, the wasteland in bloom. Vast fields of corn that grow from seeds and produce their bounty in the space of a month. Orchards of trees, their branches weighed halfway to the ground, hung with fat, ripe oranges, a harvest that could feed a city or a nation. And all this, requiring no more than a few drops of precious water, and the efforts of only a handful of human farmers. Impossible?
Nothing is impossible.
Precisely. Science has proven that truth 1,000 times over, but how many wasteland savages believe it? Present company accepted, of course. The bounty I describe to you is no idle fantasy. It exists in primitive form only a few miles from where we stand. We need only reach out and unlock its secret. For that, the OSI needs you.
This all sounds a little hard to believe.
Skepticism can be forgiven, but I think you'll come around if the reports I've heard are true. I believe that the inhabitants of Vault 22 unlock the secrets of vegetative growth. Plants are spilling from their gate. No one tends them. No one waters them. Yet they multiply and spread in all directions. Find the reason for this miraculous growth, and I promise you the OSI will see that you are generously compensated.
Alright, I'll do it.
Good. No need to check in with the NCR authorities. I can authorize your payment from OSI accounts. Vaults typically contain a server room on a lower level, where they would have backed up their research data. A computer room, you understand? Download all the information on the central server to your Pip-Boy, and you'll be certain to bring me any notes or samples that you find, won't you?
Sure. Anything else I should know?
I thought it was a fairly straightforward assignment. It's a simple question of retrieving the data, which shouldn't prove overly challenging. Downloading the data will be handled by your Pip-Boy. You might think of yourself as a mere means of conveyance. No insult intended, of course.
Alright, I had some other questions.
Oh? What might those be?
Tell me more about the OSI.
The Office of Science and Industry. It's a rather expansive topic. I could talk for hours, but I'm sure I'd bore you. Suffice to say, we are the leading edge of the NCR. Our work focuses on practical matters: medicine, engineering, biology. The dam, for instance. OSI routes its energy supply to our cities in the West. That's only one responsibility of this office.
So you control the dam from here?
Directly? No. But we attempt to maximize its output. You have no idea how difficult it is to provide power to an entire nation. Fortunately, we also have the Helios 1 facility. One of our external contractors recently got the station up and running. His name was something like Exceptional or Marvelous or...
No, that was me. I fixed Helios 1.
I see. Of course you did.
Yep. You said you were the director of OSI?
Director of the entire OSI? Me? If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to plant seditious ideas in my head. No. I direct our eastern operations. I've been responsible for squeezing unprecedented levels of power from the dam. I'm also confronting the problem of food production in what little spare time I have. But I've found some promising leads.
You're doing all these things yourself?
Yes, with the assistance of my team, of course.
Of course. The NCR has a food shortage?
Not yet, but our government understands the value of proactive thought. Our studies project an imbalance between production and consumption. Or, for a layman such as yourself, not enough food, too many mouths to feed. Mass starvation in a decade or so.
I got it. So, what other responsibilities does this office have?
We aid some programs the Republic has sponsored involving sharecropper farms in the area. But those haven't panned out too well from what I hear. There have been complaints about the amount of water we're supplying. But those are just excuses for lack of diligence, I'm sure.
Alright, Hildern, goodbye.
Yes, goodbye.
Yes, goodbye.
Did Dr. Hildern... This really isn't any of my business, but... Did he give you a job?
I'm sorry, we were talking here. Yeah, he asked me to get some data from Vault 22.
I shouldn't say anything. I know that. But you're not the first person Hildern sent out to the vault. There were a lot of
What?
mercs, one after another. None of them came back. Then about a week ago, there was a scientist, Keeley. She's unusual. Not the sort of person you'd expect, but she's an absolute genius. And he didn't mention her?
Nope.
Not even her name?
Nope.
Or any of the other mercs?
No. Hilden didn't mention anyone else.
But now he's hired you. Which means one of two things. Either he heard back from Keeley, and she failed, or he's given up on her. Listen, I make a fair wage, but I'm not rich. Not by any means. Maybe my kind of money wouldn't appeal to your average merc. But I'm willing to pay you if you'll find Keeley and make sure she's safe. Isn't right leaving her out there. No idea if she's alive or dead.
All right, I'll look for her.
I had a good feeling about you. Moment you walked in. I mean it.
All right, I have some questions.
Of course. Anything.
Can you tell me anything else about Keeley?
Keeley's brilliant. An absolute genius. She plays at being mean, but it's all a front. When you've lived as long as she has, you get defensive around new people. Who wants to make a friend when you know you'll outlive them?
Exactly how old is Keeley?
I couldn't get her to say, but she talked about the war. The Great War, when the bombs fell, like she'd been there. So, I'm guessing pretty old. 200 years? Maybe more.
So she's a ghoul? I guess? How did Keeley and Hildern get along?
Like a Brahmin and a Deathclaw, though I'm not sure which would be which. Bad analogy, maybe. They're both Deathclaws in their way. Keeley hates Hildern. She says he's more politician than scientist, and gets in the way of true discovery. And Hildern hates Keeley because... well, because every time they meet, she makes him look like an ass. In front of important people, usually.
I see. And what's your role here?
Head researcher. Mostly on the dam project, but I help out on other things when they need me. Gotta be flexible.
Alright. What do you think of Dr. Hildern?
The director? He's very well-spoken and knowledgeable.
He seemed focused on results, maybe not so much on people.
He's not what you'd call warm, unless he wants something from you. And even then, it's kind of a cold warm. Most of the time, I focus on the science and try to forget him. He doesn't get mixed up in any actual work, though he tells people that he does.
I see, so Dr. Hildern takes credit for your work.
He sure does. Everyone knows it. I've just got to endure this job until the project is finished. But abandoning Keeley, he crossed a line. Taking credit for other people's work is one thing. Sending people to die in the waste is another. If Hildern tries to recruit any more mercs, I'm gonna warn them. What can he do to me? I'm the only one who can run this lab.
Okay. Well, Hildern mentioned the followers of the apocalypse.
My father used to say good things about them, but that was years ago. Back when they teach farmers and ranchers about crop rotation and the like. Nowadays, they've changed. They're doing what they can to discredit the NCR. Give us a bad name with the locals. Dr. Hildern trained with them years ago. Not me, though. I'm an OSI girl.
Why would they do that to the NCR? I heard the food around here is pretty bad.
It's foul, to tell the truth. Most people try to get what they can from the outside, even if it's just a smuggled candy bar now and then. Contreras is a genius. He can find almost anything you'd want. Takes caps to get him motivated, though. He won't do a thing for free.
Alright, goodbye.
Right. Stay safe.
The stupid NCR is investing in new research. We're getting left in the dust.
Download complete.
What?
Begin recording. Navarro Outpost Scientist, I am glad that EDE has reached you. You will find several data banks of information on this machine.
Log, playback, continue.
Please handle this information with the utmost care, as it represents the sum total of the results of my research on the Duraframe iBots. There are also several data banks with information on my research into Poseidon Energy, and some projects they were working on in the Mojave area.
All in this little thing, huh? Interesting.
You stick out like a sore thumb around here. You sure you're in the right place?
Who are you?
Not big on reading name tags, huh? That's okay. My name is long and difficult to pronounce. Ready for it?
Yes?
It's Boyd. Lieutenant Boyd to my friends. Colonel Shu has me handling the policing duties for the base. I've told him he could make my job a whole lot easier if he would just let me shoot anyone who talks back to me. But you know how colonels can be.
Sure. Do you need any help?
Yeah, so far this has gone exactly as expected. Poorly. But with the work you've done for NCR already, you might be just what I've been looking for. We captured an honest-to-God centurion of Caesar's Legion recently.
Is that a big deal?
Better believe it. Everybody in Caesar's Legion from Caesar on down will kill themselves before they can be captured. They're so twitchy they'd probably do it if you reached out to hug them. But here's this guy who's an elite commander in their army and he just gives himself up, even as his men are slitting their own throats around him.
What do you think it means?
Well, I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like a man who's willing to cooperate. Except he hasn't. Only times he speaks up are to insult you. He's a real prick, by the way. And I'm supposed to get information out of this guy.
Have you tried calling him hurtful names?
Yes, and one time I thought I saw a tear when I told him his uniform was unflattering. But I think he just got some dust in his eye.
Well, why don't you just beat your prisoner senseless?
I like the way you think. Have I said that yet? Problem
No.
is that the NCR frowns on using that sort of tactic. There's some restrictions still in place from President Tandy's administration. But here's my favorite thing about you. You're not in the NCR. Plus, for all this guy knows, you're completely insane. That's a winning combination.
So you want me to do what you can't?
I think if you rough him up enough and really put some fear into him, he'll sing like a choir boy. So let's do this. When you're ready, I'll go in and give you a little intro. Then I leave the room and you make him regret the day he was born. We go back and forth a couple times until either he talks or he can't move his jaw anymore. Either way, we've had our entertainment for the day.
Alright, let's get started.
That's the spirit. Okay, I'll go in and have a word with him. Then I'll call you in.
Okay.
Long time no see, Celus.
Lieutenant, I was just thinking about you.
That's so.
I was just thinking about that pretty neck of yours.
How sweet.
I was thinking about how it would look with a Legion slave collar on it.
I'll pass.
Do you know what I love about our slave collars, Lieutenant?
If you love them, maybe you should try one on.
I love how tightly they fit. I train my men to make sure the slave's flesh bulges a bit around the top and bottom. Know why?
It's all the rage in fashion circles.
Not quite. If you fit it just right, their body never gets used to the feeling of wearing it. It cuts in just enough when they swallow or turn their head to remind them who they belong to. And it's that constant reminder that keeps them docile.
In that case, maybe you'd better save the collar you were gonna give me.
Oh? For whom?
For a friend of mine you're about to meet. My friend isn't very docile.
And who is this friend of yours?
You know all the rules the NCR instituted to protect enemy prisoners of war?
Of course.
My friend doesn't. Oh, and Celus? If you resist at all, I'll personally blow your brains out. Come on in, he's all yours. I'll be back in a bit to see how you're getting along. And I need you to surrender your weapons before you go in. You can pick them up from the locker on your way out.
Alright, sure. Hey.
What an ugly little worm you are. What pile of excrement did the lieutenant pluck you from, worm?
Excuse me? I'm with the Legion. I'm here to kill you before you talk.
You're nothing. You're some inept mercenary the NCR is paying to supplement its own incompetent soldiers.
Oh yeah? Legium servae sumus. We are both slaves to Caesar's law, and you are in violation.
No. Listen, Caesar's secrets are safe with me. I stayed alive because Caesar would have wanted it. I'm useless to him dead.
You're a danger to him alive. Your knowledge threatens him.
I've told them nothing. They've gotten nowhere. I'm a Centurion, for Christ's sake. I deserve his trust.
Caesar's laws are absolute. He does not grant exceptions.
You have to let this go. I'll disappear. No one will ever see me again. That was always the plan in the first place.
So in addition to treason, you're also a deserter.
No, that's not what I meant. Lieutenant, this woman is trying to kill me. She's not who you think she is.
Yeah. Hey, I put a little fear in them. You can come back now. Fucking idiot.
All that shouting. Honestly, Silas, you get free room and board. The least you could do is be a good guest.
Lieutenant, this woman is an agent of the Legion on a mission to kill me.
My, we have an active imagination today, don't we?
Think about it. Is it worth the risk? You need what I
Well, it sounds like the two
He's
of you
pissing
are
his pants.
contact friends.
It'll be your
Ah,
die,
shit.
Lieutenant. You'll be disgraced.
You know what?
Ooh.
I think you're right, Silas.
Of course I'm right.
Except, I don't care. Because it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it to never have to hear you say another word, Silas. Carry on.
Lieutenant.
Oh, out of the way, Edie.
You don't have to do this.
You shouldn't have done that. I am the only friend you have right now.
You've made your intentions clear. The Legion has abandoned me. I've done everything Caesar ever asked of me, and this is how I am repaid. With assassination, I ambushed countless NCR patrols and wiped them out so that our operatives could move freely. I waited for him to dispatch us for 3 days, never questioning why the headaches he complained of would hinder his ability to command. I haven't breathed a word about the officer we planted here. He continues to radio intelligence to Caesar's camp nearly every night. I've proven my loyalty. All you're doing is killing a loyal soldier. If that's Caesar's policy, then I say his empire will crumble.
No, if his empire crumbles, it'll probably be because his centurions are so gullible.
What? What do you mean?
You've been tricked, Silas. I'm working with the NCR. I just got you to talk.
No, you slimy bastard. Nothing
That's
I
right.
said will change the outcome for you. No force can hold back the tide of the Legion. This camp and everyone in it will burn.
So you say, Silas.
You did well. I don't know how you did it without putting a scratch on him, and I'm a little disappointed personally, but it saved the NCR some face. And it could save us more than that when all is said and done. I'm gonna talk to some people when we're through here. This is about double the standard fee we'd give a consultant, but from what I saw, you're more of an artist. So think of this as your commission.
Thank you. I am an artiste. You're right. So, while I've got you here, have you noticed anything suspicious lately?
Now, what kind of MP would I be if I didn't notice anything suspicious? I've had soldiers go AWOL, break-ins, thefts, you name it.
Who's missing?
Well, there's Anders. He's a ranger. That one's not suspicious so much as worrisome. He left on a dangerous assignment. Colonel Shu sent him out. Now I think he feels guilty not having any way to check up on him.
Anyone else missing?
Yeah. The man I'm more interested in is Corporal White. White had a lot of promise. Wanted to be a ranger as bad as anyone I've seen. But he also had some extracurricular activities going. Now he's gone.
Okay, I'll see what I can find out about Corporal White for you.
Word around the base is he'd been going regularly to visit a hooker named Dazzle at Gamora. That's a casino on the Strip. Classy place. His belongings are up in the barracks in the concourse building. First bunk on your left if you're facing it from the center. I haven't had a chance to look through his things yet, so that might be a good place to begin.
Alright, tell me about the break-ins.
Maybe break-in isn't the right word. We didn't find signs of forced entry, but I've had reports of someone sneaking into the control tower at night. It's probably just a meeting spot for a steamy military base love affair. Kids today.
Yeah,
But it
tell me
bothers that
about
they
it.
didn't break in. It means they have an access code. Most soldiers around the base don't have that.
Would you be willing to give me the control tower access key so I can check it out?
Sure, if you want to investigate. It's not like there's anything to steal up there. Just a bunch of old communications equipment. If you can find out any more, I'd be interested to hear it. There's something
All right.
about this I really don't like. And if I weren't tied up here, I'd be staking it out personally.
Mm-hmm. So, what else can you tell me about Anders?
I don't know him very well myself. I seem to remember that he was the man to call on if you needed someone to get in and get out quietly. Colonel Shu would really be the person to talk to.
Okay. And you said there have been thefts.
Not the kind of things you like to see go missing. No witnesses yet. I've got my money on Sergeant Contreras, who's supposed to be in charge of distribution, the little weasel. But he's too slick to let anyone catch him doing it. We've searched his possessions 12 times. Nothing.
I'll keep an eye out for your missing supplies.
Good. The more guns you can recover, the more I'll be able to use to shoot Contreras for being inept.
Okay. Goodbye.
Yep. See you around.
Did the Colonel send you? I was hoping he might have changed his mind.
Change his mind about what?
My husband. He's a ranger, and he got murdered by a pack of fiends. Goddamn savages laid his body out to rot. Brass won't say it to me straight, but they mean to leave Esteban out there. I can see that plain.
Seems strange the NCR wouldn't do their best to retrieve a fallen comrade.
Colonel says he can't spare the men to bring Esteban back home. And the fiends, they put all kinds of mines and traps around his body. Snipers, too.
Alright, well, how did he die?
He was out on patrol. Bunch of drugged-up fiends attacked them. Esteban laid down cover fire while the others fell back. One of the men saw him get shot. He didn't die, though. Not then. They tried to go back for him, but there were too many fiends and they had to pull out. Damn savages chased them halfway to McCarran.
Well, if your husband is dead, what does it matter if you get the corpse
You
back?
never lost anybody, have you? Not like this. Never had to think about that person you love all alone out there, cooking in the sun like meat. NCR never leaves a soldier behind. That's what the recruiters told us. Promised us. We believed them.
And you're saying no one else will help you?
His best friend, Jackson, tried. Didn't even get permission from his CO, so it could have cost him a lot. But he never came back.
Alright, I'll recover your husband's body.
Ma'am, I'd about given up hope. But you've got to be careful. I don't want anybody else dying on my account. Esteban's body is laid out between some of the buildings, east of the Repcon headquarters. At least that's what his squad mates said. There's an NCR position just north of there. It's on the way. They should be able to tell you what the situation is.
Alright. Alright, this is Corporal White's locker. And there's this journal.
Listen, asshole, I know you're not really an NCR health inspector, so you can cut the restaurant critique routine. And I want
What?
my 50 caps back. Because I looked it up, and there ain't no disease called colorectal implosion syndrome. So I paid
What?
you to look the other way for nothing. Wait, you're not... Oh, wow, I'm sorry. You look just like... Never mind, sorry.
What?
So what can I serve you up?
Is there a health inspector bothering you?
That's nothing. You just look like the health inspector who stopped through for the yearly inspection a couple of weeks back. I was hoping I wouldn't have to wait another 11 months to see his crooked ass to get my caps back. Ah, well. Anything I can get you?
Wait, his? Are you saying that I look like a man? Wow, rude. You got anything to eat?
Oh, yeah. You can order up anything you want. As long as it's corn or beans.
What?
Just kidding. Haven't you heard? With a few shipments from home and a little variety, the troops are getting restless for some quality grub. You can only do so much as a chef with just corn, beans, onions, and peppers.
Okay, well, can anything be done to improve your supplies?
Well, we haven't had any quality meat in months. Everyone in the camp just eating beans for protein. It isn't pretty. Some of my kitchen machinery is broken down too, so we've been eating mostly raw vegetables. And I'm desperate for spices or seasonings. Anything, just something for the general mood around here.
Okay, where would you suggest I find meat in the amount you need here?
It doesn't need to all come from the same source. There are a bunch of different vendors around who sell meat. Fitz, the Nashes, Crimson Caravan. We've never really tried to go out and organize deals with merchants to supply our food. Already having an overstock of food, we haven't needed to. But we really need some good old red meat on the menu soon. So I'm willing to divert some caps in their direction if they're open to supplying us.
Okay. And what are the parts needed to fix the food processor?
Here's the list. We've been scrapping together quick fixes to keep it running for months. I think it finally crapped out and needs a full overhaul. It's the goofy machine behind the counter in the corner next to the stove. I'd be much obliged if you could take a look at it and get it fixed up.
Okay. And where might I find these parts?
I don't know. Try the various traders around the waste. Or the pawn shop in Westside might have some parts. Oh, I've heard of a place called House Tools you could check out. It's an old factory on the north side of Vegas. Just a word of warning, though. I hear no one who goes in there comes back out. Could be traps, crazy robots, or who knows what's in that place.
Alright, and what about the spices? Where should I look for them?
The Crimson Caravan would probably be able to arrange a regular shipment, but I don't know of any spices known to improve mood. Hell, we have a whole research department. One guy's even set up in the main terminal building. They're the ones who ought to be looking into it.
Alright, let me talk about something else.
What can I do for you?
Goodbye.
You look like someone in need of a reliable supplier.
Got anything for sale?
Take your pick.
Alright.
Another satisfied customer.
So, what kind of supplies did you have in mind?
Are you implying I have some kind of secret under-the-table stash I only offer to certain clients? Because that could get a man in trouble.
I've got connections. Maybe we can make an arrangement?
Now you're talking my language. I do have an expanded inventory for people I can trust. If you're willing to do a little legwork for me, I could give you access to my stash and at a discount. Many of these items aren't available in the NCR, and you'll be hard-pressed to find them at a better price anywhere else.
Alright, that sounds good to me. What do you need done?
Well, I can't exactly go wandering off the base whenever I want, you know. They're already suspicious. I can hear the MPs now. Gee, Contreras, I didn't know you had so many friends in the gun runners. Speaking of which, guess your first stop. You're just passing a little
Crimson
note
Caravan?
named Isaac for me. I want to know which girl he likes.
Okay, I'll do it.
Great, let me know what he says. They're almost a straight shot north from here, up past the sharecroppers.
Alright, time for me to go.
Later.
Looks like someone is sneaking in and out at 1 a.m. Interesting. Alright, let's go.
Lupa,
Oh.
this is Frumentarius Picus. Over.
Go ahead.
Afternoon patrol enters Fiend territory at 1300. Have them mind that stretch.
10-4, Picus. Fiends will be alerted.
Roger, Lupa.
What's the status of your primary mission, Picus?
Charges are set. Detonation will occur as the train leaves the station. Over.
How long?
What?
Couple of minutes. Over.
10-4. Keep us
Uh-oh.
10-4.
That's not good. The device looks as though it is armed and could go off at any moment. Alright, well, I've got to try to defuse it. Oh. Alright, we did it. Let's go take care of that traitor.
What are you doing here? You don't have clearance.
I have clearance for catching spies.
I don't know what you mean.
Uh-oh.
I think you do, Curtis. Or should I say, Lupa.
We're all impressed with the work you've done for us. Thought you might be able to make use of this. It's a key
Sis.
to a little hideaway south of here. We've used it as a place for rangers to rest and resupply. I
Right?
thought you might get good use out of it.
Okay. Well, you won't be having problems with intelligence leaks anymore.
No? What happened?
It was Curtis. He's in the Legion. I can prove he tried to blow up the monorail.
Curtis? He's been in the NCR long before our conflict with the Legion. There's just no way. I hope you're mistaken, but somehow I don't think so. It'd explain a lot. This is much worse than anyone expected. There could be others, too. You've done everything that was asked of you. You have my personal thanks for this. And I'll make sure you receive the credit you deserve.
Alright. Captain Gills at British Springs needs reinforcements. Can you spare any?
Well, you have been a great help here, and with the saboteur dealt with. Yes, I think we can spare a few men. Consider it done.
Alright. Colonel, who are the Fiends?
As in chem fiends. Biggest gang of raiders I've ever seen. Nothing like addiction to swell your numbers. Psychotic and completely unpredictable. They set up shop in Vault 3 to the west. Every day they attack our positions and my men repel them. But every day there's more of them and less of us. I sent one of my rangers after their leader to try and destabilize them. He didn't return. Hell of a thing, losing a ranger. You come to depend on them, and they come through for you so often, you forget it can happen.
Well, I can go to Vault 3 and see if I can find you a ranger.
That vault is a hornet's nest. If you have second thoughts, no one would think less of you for it. But if you can get him home, it'd mean a lot. Watch for civilians, too. The Fiends have been kidnapping locals. They just walk right into people's homes in the middle of the day and take them. But the man you're looking for is Bryce Anders. Anders was trying to find the leader, Motor Runner. You hear something like a chainsaw? You've found Motor Runner. Put a bullet in his head, and you'll have some new friends around here.
Okay, roger that. Goodbye.
Bye.